WW, KX4 Whiskey Charlie.
Yeah, Roger, KX4 Whiskey Charlie, VY2 Whiskey. Very good. And let's see here. Yeah, that's it. Telescoping mast. I saw I sent you the link to the 41-footer. I think it was, Mike. Yeah, that's a 50-footer. I think that garage is probably, if I had to guess, and Mike could absolutely confirm or not this, but I would say probably that roof top is only about maybe 20 feet. I would say maybe possibly 21 feet there at the apex. So if you had the if you had a 41-foot pole and you put the optibeam there on the top of it, you would have actually you could probably get by with a 35-foot pole, put a rotor on there and a short piece of mast, and you'd get it up at 40 feet, 42 feet. You could be 10 or 12 feet. The bottom of the hex beam would be 10 or 12 feet above that roof, and the 20-meter beam would be another 4 or 5 feet higher. So I don't know. I think it's a non-problem. I really do. I don't think that's enough metal to really completely kill the signal. You might notice a very small amount of degradation of the SWR pattern in certain directions, but I don't think it would be enough to cause a problem. But I really like to see something right there in that spot. I think it's perfect, and I've done a lot of that stuff. I had on my house in Catawba, I had about a 48 foot maybe, Roan 25G. House bracketed with 3 house brackets and a concrete base, and I had a 40-meter Force 12 rotatable dipole and a 3-element monoband Yagi for 20 on that for about over 20 years. Never had any problems. It was very solid and safe. You didn't feel too bad climbing that way with appropriate climbing equipment. Anyway, John is in here listening. I think he said he was going to be listening on the Vermont SDR, the WA3O. Over to you, Mike, WA3O, and you can pass it to Devin. Good evening to you, Devin, VY2WW.
Yeah, well, if you look at Devin's website, it's interesting. He has a hex beam on a tree. If Mike was doing it on top of a hill, he could always chop a top of a tree off and strap a pipe to the tree, or do something like that. Use the tree as a little bit of the support until the tree completely dies. Which, who knows? That might be a couple years down the road. But the last link I sent you, it's $249 from Walmart, but it's free shipping. Those poles, since they're long, if you ship them, it's almost like $100 to ship the thing. So the key thing with getting one of those masts is to try to get free shipping out of it. And I bought mine from Walmart. Walmart sells them. I think Home Depot does too, and there's a couple others. But that's the key, because there's no sense in spending an extra $100 to have the thing shipped when you can get it free shipping. Or I could drive to DX Engineering too, like I did for my Optibeam. There's a little gas involved with that, but that's an easy ride too, because DX Engineering keeps those in stock. I could bring it down with me.
Hello there.
So a bunch of things to mull around. Go ahead, Devin. Well, hang on a second, Devin. Let me see if John wants to get in here. I'm on the dang headset halfway. Let me switch to the beam here. Okay, just switch. All right, let me see if John wants to join us. ON8EI, WA3O. Are you in there, John? Do you want to join us?
Yeah, Roger, I'm not sure if you're hearing me, Mike, but Whiskey Alpha 3 Ocean, Oscar November 8 Echo India on the hybrid system, and I'm listening in Vermont, Mike.
Yeah, no problem, John. You're 5 and 7, 5 and 8. Yeah, no problem. Copy. Hearing you fine, and I think John's going to hear you too. Go ahead, John. Say hello to Little John.
Yeah. Hi, hello, John. Yeah, you're 5'8" or so. I didn't look at the meter, but you're Q5 in Prince Edward Island, John. ON80I in the group VY2WW.
Yeah, very good. Good evening to you, John. Nice to hear you. Nice to hear Devon, and of course Captain Mike with his measuring tape. VY2WW ON80I. You're probably 5'8", 5'9". I'm actually looking at the Vermont station. But anyway, nice that you're here. I'm happy to listen on the side, but everything is sounding great. And then I had a few words with the big man himself from the Middle East. So it was great hearing that the little bit of a round table also with Kevin there, John.
Oh, okay, yeah, Roger. And you're 5'9" here. You're actually 5'9" tonight. The band's not as good as it has been. And I don't know. Sam was still almost 20 over. I mean, he did peak 20. I was so surprised. Anyway, let me get it over to Devin. I imagine he's copying you as well. K1DSK, Devin, are you hearing John in Belgium, VY2WW?
Hello, John. Yeah, good evening. Yeah, I copy him. I'm not sure his call sign. Is it Oscar November 8, India? Is that call sign?
Echo India.
Okay, Oscar November 8, Echo India. Oscar November 8, Echo India. John, Kilo 1, Delta Sierra Kilo, K1DSK. I copy you 5x8, 58, QSL?
Yeah, Roger on that, Devin, and I'll give you a 5 and 8 as well. But I am on the hybrid system where I'm listening to Vermont, but obviously transmitting from the shack. Antenna on this side, Devin, is a dipole about 16 meters above the ground, and the power at the moment is about 500 watts. The radio, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this radio, Devin, HI. Devin, I'm using the Hermes Light.
Oh, yes, yeah, you sounded really good. 500 watts, and the wire antenna with Hermes Light is doing a great job. I'm using a little bit of power here, about 700 watts, into a end-fed half-wave antenna, and the radio is Apache Lab 7000 DLE. 7000 DLE. That's the working condition. 5'8" for you. John, you are 5'9" plus 20. And Mike, you are also 5'9" plus 15 to 20. Mike, I like to compare your signal from your end fed and the beam. So let me pass it to, let me say, we'll be talking, so no 73. Let me pass it to Mike, WA3O, K1DSK.
All right,
Yeah, very good, Devin. Well, I was just about to ask you if you were in fed halfway, because I know you're kind of a builder guy. So you have to let me know if you made your build. This one that I'm on, I'm not on it right now, but this one that I will be switching to is completely homebrew. 3 cores, and, you know, of course, the 49-to-1 balun and the capacitor across it, and, you know, all that. It should take, a kilowatt pretty easily, and it has a capacitor in the middle so that you get 75 meters. Is it 75 or 80? I forget which one's higher. It gives you the higher of it. Maybe that's 80. No, I think that's 75. 75, it gets you right where the DX window is good SWR. And, all the way up to 6 meters pretty much with pretty good SWRs all the way up. So, all right, this is the OptiBeam, end-fed. This is the end-fed, OptiBeam, end-fed, and back to the OptiBeam. And the OptiBeam is, 2 elements at 55 feet. And the end-fed is an inverted L configuration where it goes up a tree about 40 feet. And then it slopes down towards the house to about 15 feet. So it's like an inverted L. Back to you, Devin. K1DSK, WA3O.
Well, very interesting. Well, initially we had a double, and then I think there's some QRM on the signal. I think you need to do one more time because the OptiBeam at one time was about 10 dB stronger. The next transmission, the end fed also came, and it was same. And then at one time, the end fed was stronger. So I don't know because of QRM or what. Do one more time, please. Go ahead.
Well, realize this. To me and you, it's probably a lot of high angle. And, a dipole and a beam, there isn't much difference on the high angle. Now, further away, the further you get away, that'll start to be lower angle. So I could believe that the end fed is almost as good as the OptiBeam. So here we go again. OptiBeam. End fed. OptiBeam. End fed, and back to the OptiBeam. Over.
Okay, the OptiBeam is stronger this time. It's about 6 to 8 dB stronger here, at least at my QTH. But the end fed is doing really well. So back to you.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure a piece of wire, right? Piece of wire that, if you make it yourself, it's probably $100 at the most, right? And then a $4,000 antenna with a crank up tower and 2 concrete trucks full of concrete, 4K later of concrete. So the comparison's kind of interesting. Real quick, Devin, let me ask you, and then pass it to Mike. Maybe he's back. If not, give it back to John. Did you make your end fed or did you buy it?
Oh, I have several end feds, all homebrewed. I have this antenna I only use for 40 meters because depending on the length of the wire, at 40 meters, 66 feet, acts as a dipole. But if your 80-meter antenna will work on 40, but the radiation pattern will split and won't be as strong. So sometimes the gain depends on whether it's a 2 half waves, 3 half waves, 4 half waves. The antenna, the radiation pattern changes completely. So this one, I have second one for 80 and 160, and I just fell in love with these antennas. I didn't have a loop. Actually, I took it down today, a 40-meter delta loop, and I compared for 2 weeks, and I don't see much difference. So let me pass it back to you. I don't know if John is back. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, on 40 meters, you have to be very, very careful about, comparing antennas. Because 40 meters is like dual bands. We'll say you got lots of high angle. When, I'm talking to you, you get these 40 and 60 over signals and, 20 overs and all this, and it's, 300-400 miles, right? And then you get some DX, which is further away. So you almost need 2 different antennas for 40, one for NVIS and the other one for low angle DX. So when you're comparing, you have to really think, is that person close? Is it, is it daylight? Is it nighttime? Is there absorption going on? So very difficult to compare apples to apples. Now the Delta might have beat it out, DX, maybe, maybe not. So, when you're doing your comparisons, you got to keep that in mind. So, on the next go round, tell me what you used and how you made yours. I'll tell you how I made my end feds, and we'll just compare notes. Go ahead, John. Pick it up. VY2WW, WA3O.
Yeah, I think Captain Mike was trying to get in there some time ago, and he doubled with you. Captain Mike, are you still here?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I accidentally doubled with Mike there. I thought Devin was asking me about the antenna, but yeah, I did the measurement. It's just under 22 feet from the very top of the roof down to the ground there. So it's about 21.8. But anyway, yeah, I'm not hearing John out there in Belgium very well, but these guys are all 500 plus. They're VY2WW KX4WC.
Yeah, Roger, okay. Yeah, I'm having a little trouble copying you. This band is noisy, and it's pure Nancy noise. Anyway, I'm going to have to get out of here, guys. I realized I'm on up at 8 o'clock. I made some promises, so enjoy the evening. And Devin, good to hear you tonight. And I think we'll have more to say about the subject matter of getting up hex beam. I looked at your pictures, Devin. They're very impressive to see the hex beam in the top of the tree. And so that's really awesome. And I think another tree has a monoband 10-meter Yagi strapped to it or something. That's pretty cool. Use what you have. And Captain Mike has a wonderful ridge top that he owns behind his house with tremendous sloping terrain. Just crying for a tower or even just some more wire antennas other than just inside half waves or whatever's up there now. It could be a real paradise up there. So I won't hold it. I'm going to listen out here for now, and we'll probably be back a bit later. I mean, not tonight, but we'll see you guys later on. Well, this discussion could go on for hours, but I can't stay. So back to you there, Devin, and you can pass it to Mike. And good night to John in Belgium as well, who was also in here in a hybrid way. K1DSK in the group, VY2WW, listening out.
Hey, John, very, very nice to touch base with you. It's been a while. And a question for you. Are you still at Prince Edward Island, or you're back in Pennsylvania? Go ahead.
No, I do spend winters. I've been spending winters in Virginia, but I am in PEI, and I will be back and forth this winter, Roger.
Oh, so are you going to stay there for through the winter?
Yeah, I might be here for some of it, I think. That's the plan, Roger.
My gosh, you're a brave person. How cold does it get, like in January, February?
It's a little worse than Boston. Maybe not as bad as Mount Washington, Roger.
Okay, but very good for DXing, I guess, especially Europe and the East. All right, John, we'll catch up. We can talk for hours, but I'll let you go. And 73, have a good evening.
73, nice to see you.
Mike, I've been doing antenna modeling for 4 or 5 years. So I think I understand antenna patterns really well, depending on the height, depending on the half wave, depending on the multiple elements, and of course if it's a multiple half wave, how the patterns change. So if you have a dipole, and if you get about more than, say, half wave or three-quarter wave, your lobes, the donut lobes, work pretty well. They do really well for DX also, but they won't do well on the sides. So of course you can always change the height depending on the need. Anyway, so the end-fed half wave. Let me see. Okay, why don't you take a turn, and then next time I'll talk about the antenna. I think Mike is there and John is there too. WA3O, K1DSK.
Yeah, K1DSK, WA3O. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand it as well. I've been playing with M-Mana and this sort of stuff. So, yeah, let me say 73s to John. I think he's just going to take off, and let me let Mike say 73s, and if John's in there, let me let them all say 73s to John, and then we'll get back to this discussion. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but I think little John's going to be on the side, and Mike will probably hang in there. So let me turn it to Mike and see if he's going to stick around and say 73s to John. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Mike, 73 there, John, and those 40-footers would put that mast up above about 17 feet above the roof if you're still there. But anyway, 73 there, John, and I guess I'm not sure it goes back to you, Mike. WA3O, KX4WC.
Yeah, Mike, I'm kicking myself right now because I gave away tower sections. I had a 30-foot tower, Roan, and I had 40-foot, and I gave them away when I left Pittsburgh. One of the guys I gave it to actually passed away, never got a chance to put it up. But that would have been perfect, a 30-foot with a piece of pipe on it. yeah, you know, a 40-foot push-up would really work well. And I didn't realize that was only 22 feet, so you could put a pulley there, put a base there, and just pull up that, you know, tilt it up and bop your uncle and pull up a little bit on the top of it. But well, we can talk about that. But I have these two end feds for you. Well, I made one today. I'll make the other one tomorrow with the wire and everything complete. And we'll discuss whether you want me just to bring them down or whatever, you know, or I can ship them. I don't know. You're probably not in a big hurry or need for it, but we can do that. So let me see if Little John's still in there. I don't think he is, but he's probably getting pretty late for him. Oh, and ADI, WA3O, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll just check. Are you actually hearing me, Mike? Whiskey Alpha 3 Ocean, Oscar November 8 Echo India on the group. Any copy from Belgium on the hybrid system, Mike? Over.
Oh yeah, I hear you, John. There's a little bit of noise in there, but you're well over the top of it. So I just wanted to give you a chance. I know it's pretty late there for you, and I don't know if you have to work tomorrow, so you're probably not going to stick around. Plus, you have a little bit of noise, so maybe you'll listen. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to either stay in there or get out of there. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger. No, I'm happy to listen because I'm listening in luxury in Vermont. But I sent you a YouTube video, and you might send it to Captain Mike. I'm not sure how well or badly he's hearing me. But the antenna that I've sent is it's from a station in New Zealand, and he's probably about the biggest sounding station out of New Zealand, ZL3 Sugar Victor, and he's just using some sort of a homebrew ballon, but there's a lovely video to watch, and I haven't, you know, obviously seen Captain Mike's setup, but maybe that's the one that can put Captain Mike on the map, Mike, over.
Yeah, he just needs some gain. You know, the deal is, well, you know, we all like these end feds and we all like dipoles, and it's hard to beat them. But there's one way to beat them is you know, one more element and squirt that RF in a direction and get a little bit of front to back and get a little gain, and that's the next step. And we all know it as hams. You know, you do and I do and Devin does. Really, you should spend your money on your antenna first, you know, and then your amplifier, you know, and then your radios and amplifier as well. Mike has kind of done it, you know, backwards, and it works. It's not terrible, and sometimes, you know, it's a easy peasy way of doing it. There's not a whole lot of money into it. However, you know, so it's like having a pistol. And you know, your end fed half wave is your pistol, but what you really want is your AR-15 or your shotgun. So you know, it's a different tool is basically what it is. And you know, when you get to that level, we all want to beam. We all want to be able to get our signal in a certain area better. So Devin, just recently, John, with the direction of me, has put his dipole from, I don't know, maybe 11 meters to 15 meters, and he is remarkably better. It's just a dipole. It was like an inverted V sort of thing, and I said, look, get the center up as high as you can, and try to get the ends up, you know, try to make it as flat as possible. And you'll see big benefits from doing that, because an inverted V, once you start pulling those elements down, it becomes more vertical, and most of your radiation's from the center of your antenna. So you could even make you know, antenna with drooping radials and, you know, things like that. So, but yeah, I've been modeling with I don't know what you use. I use MMA&A, and MMA&A is really kind of easy peasy to do some of this stuff. And yeah, you know, when you start using an end-fed half-wave, you get all these patterns and fingers, you know, coming out because of you know, you're a half wave on 80 and you're a full wave on 40 or whatever, and you know, it's just where you're putting these fingers, where you're spreading this, you know, spreading the pattern out. So it's really kind of a guess with an end-fed half wave of whether, you know, you have the finger in the right location, right? There's probably some deep nulls in between that as well. So how I made my end-fed half wave, I just bought two 40-43s, 3 of them, stacked together, glued them together, and I wrapped 14 turns around, just straight, you know, bunched up in one corner, you know, bunched up as tight as you can get it, and I soldered the tap on 2 turns in, so, you know, 14 to 2. And soldered the capacitor across, and I didn't do any of the crazy twisting. I played around with the twisting ones and, you know, bringing the coil over to the other side and stuff, and it didn't really seem to make much difference. That, you know, that's about it. Put it in a box, and you put a coil up about 6 feet up, you know, 5 turns around a 1-inch diameter, and that brings the 10 meter down a little bit to a usable area. And halfway down the length of the 133 foot, I put a 500 picofarad doorknob capacitor to move the frequency up on 80 meters to 75 to get it more up at 3.8. It seems to work pretty good. So over to you, Devin. K1DSK, WA3O.
There is some strong QRM. Somebody's on 145. I don't know if you hear that also or not. It's pretty strong here, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I don't hear it, but there's sometimes some people that do some intentional jamming. Is that what it is?
No, I think there is a QSO going on. Anyway, I mean, our signals are much stronger. So, this topic, you know, we can talk for hours, but simply, my preferred way of making antenna is either use on 1 or 2 bands, because then I know what the pattern is. So I have several end-fed half waves. One is for 80 and 160 meters. I have 290-43. So these are large toroids, not 240, 2.9 inch, 290, 43, stacked, no glue, just stacked, and then 14 gauge wire, the magnetic wire, 14 to 2 ratio. Since I built some time ago, I twisted those, and then a 150 picofarad capacitor. So that's the 160 meter. The one I'm using for 40 meters is 240-43, size smaller ones. There are 3 of those, and I just use for. So here is what I did. I did a lot of experiments comparing. So if you keep the antenna horizontal, completely horizontal, the anon is at the height where the antenna is. So for this, the anon is about 60 feet from the ground on the tree. And the other end is 65 feet. So pretty horizontal. So it's a flat dipole. There's no counterpoise, no grounding anywhere. And since the wire is cut for 66 feet, I am not using any tuner. And the SWR, especially from 130 to about 170, is 1.0. About that goes to 1.2 or 3. So there's no return current. So there is no RF coming in the shack. I do have a choke outside the RF, for RF. So that's my 40 meter. This antenna I compared with another 40 meter antenna, flat, vertical, inverted L, sloper, and all different orientation. The flat top beat all of those. Each time you bring it close to the ground, you compromise, you lose some signal. So in brief, that's step number 1. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, that's interesting. So I also have a 160/80 that goes over the hill from my house. It's on a great, and they claim, because it's a my antenna one, I bought one, They claim that it does 160, 80, and 40. It does not. It does 160 and 80, and it's 250-some feet long. But yeah, that's interesting, and you're right. Anytime you bring something like that down to the ground, you end up sometimes having ground losses. However, with the antenna that I have up right now, I have a good SWR, you know, and we're talking compromise, right? We're talking one antenna that is your backup antenna that works on most bands. I can work 80, 40, some of 30, and we're talking 30s like 2 to 1, which we'll say it's okay. No tuner. I don't use a tuner on anything. So 80s like 1.5 to 1 in the sweet spot. 40s 1.2 to 1 in the sweet spot. 30 meters like 2 to 1 in the sweet spot. Usable but not great. 20 meters is 1.2 to 1 in the sweet spot. 17 meters is 1.4 to 1 in the sweet spot. 21 is 1.2 to 1 in the sweet spot. 24 is 1.5 to 1 in the sweet spot, which is, and this we're talking sweet spot is all voice, mainly voice, but it normally covers the whole band. And the one that isn't great is 10 meters, and the sweet spot is like 28,600, and it's like 1.7 or 1.8 to 1. So, for a compromised antenna in the configuration of an inverted L, I have it because I could just, it's a one antenna that will cover all of it. Will it have a good pattern on that? Probably not, like you said. So let me ask you this. You said 290. I'm writing this down because I'm just curious. 290 dash, and we're leaving Mike out of this. Sorry, Mike. 290 dash, pen doesn't want to work. What was the 160 mix? Did you say 63?
43. Same 43.
Okay, so you're still using 43. The reason why I asked that is I hooked the end-fed half-wave up that I made recently. I disconnected it from my 160, and it has a great SWR on 160, and I was always under the impression that 160 was one of these bands that you had to move to a different mix, like 52 or something like that, but maybe not. Yeah, they're interesting antennas, and I don't know. Have you ever experimented with? Let me ask you this: the 240s. You said you did 240-43s, but how many cores? Did you use 2 or 3 on those? And your 290, how many cores? And have you ever experimented with the real easy way without twisting? Just wrap 1 turn, wrap 2 turns through, and then skin the wire a little bit, solder a piece of wire to it, and then wrap the rest of your turns on, and then your 150 across it, of course, and all that. Have you ever tried that? I've been having really good success with that, and it's easy. You don't have to worry about twisting or bringing it back and all the rest. It kind of works out nice. A lot to take in there, Devin. Go ahead.